Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's Facebook and Instagram Live. I'm Christine Daal from Fashion Ninja Warrior, and tonight we are going to talk about how to prepare to walk a trade show, specifically a textile trade show, because there are a lot of them coming up. So hi, how are you? Nice to see you on. Nice to see everyone on. Hope everyone's enjoying the day. It's been a little rainy here in New York City, but 4th of July is right around the corner. So please share this video. It helps me so much when you share these videos to all of your fabulous fashionpreneurs to get the word out there. I'm giving away tons of free content and information, so why not share it? Also, as we go along, definitely give me your hearts, give me your thumbs up. I love hearing from you guys. I need this to be as interactive as possible. Your comments are like oxygen to me, okay? So it's much more fun for me when I hear from you, so don't be shy. Also, if you're on Instagram, at the end of this broadcast, the video will be deleted. So if you did miss anything, you can go on over to Facebook and watch it inside the Fearless Fashionpreneur Facebook group. So have you ever walked a trade show, like a big trade show like Tex World or Premier Vision, and you walk inside and you're like, holy cow, I have no idea what to do, where to start, who to talk to, where to go? Or maybe you've been walking these shows for years and you're still kind of confused on what you should be looking for, what you should be saying to these vendors, who these vendors are, etc. So we are going to talk about all of that on tonight's Facebook and Instagram Live. We're going to also talk about the different types of suppliers at these shows, the differences between the shows, tips to keep track of all the information that you gather at these shows, which items you should bring when you're attending the shows, and the top 10 crucial things you need to prepare before going to one of these shows. Hi Valerie, how are you? Nice to see you on. So, number one, the first tip I want to give you, you need to know what you want before you even attend these shows, okay? It is one of my biggest pet peeves when designers do not know the difference between a fiber and a fabric type, okay? So you really need to start to educate yourself. Understand different types of fabrics, understand different types of fibers. Go to stores, look at your competitors, look at content labels. Start to get familiar with the type of fabrics that you're going to need to source, okay? Things like polyester, cotton, rayon, silk, these are all fibers. The fiber is what's made into a yarn in order to be woven or knitted into a fabric type, okay? So telling me that you're looking for polyester means nothing because I have no idea what type of fabric you need. I only know the fiber content, right? On the flip side of that, the fabric type, sateen, twill, jersey, chiffon, charmeuse, all of these things, crepe, these are all types of fabrics. So yes, while it's good to say I'm looking for a crepe, it's even better to say the fiber and the fabric type together. I'm looking for a rayon crepe, or I'm looking for a cotton sateen, 100% cotton sateen, or I'm looking for a 95.5 poly cotton sateen, or 95.5 polyspan jersey, right? So being as specific as possible when you're going to these shows is only going to help the vendors be able to give you exactly what you're looking for. If you don't know what you're looking for, they can't really help you, okay? So number one is to know what you want. So start to educate yourself on the differences between fibers and fabrics. Hi Elizan, how are you? Nice to see you on. Number two, know what price you can afford. Don't go and just have no idea what you can actually afford to pay. Personally, I don't like to look at fabrics that I can't afford because I will get my hopes up, I'll get all excited, I'll fall in love with the fabric. You know, I have champagne tastes, but a beer budget, right? So you're gonna fall in love with something and then not be able to afford it, and you're gonna really be let down. So know what price you can actually afford before going to these fabric shows. And one way to do that is to have a really good cost sheet template. So we offer a foolproof cost sheet template inside our website, and I will put the link. If you go to fashionninjawarrior.com, I will put the link. It's under resources and then forms and contacts. Sorry, forms and, yeah, forms. And you can find it there. I'll put a link on the Facebook group. Hi, Naima. How are you? Hi, Lana Dean. Nice to see you ladies on. Hey Doreen, how are you? Nice to see you on. So know what price you can afford, and a good way to figure that out is by using your cost sheet and also knowing what your retail price is going to be at the end of the day, because you can take your retail price and actually work backwards to figure out what the price per yard you can actually afford to pay for your fabric. Okay, number 3, hi Sharona. Number 3, know the differences between the types of suppliers. So there's mills, there's converters, there's jobbers. It's really important that you understand the differences between these. I'm not going to really go into too much detail on them because I talk all about them in Facebook Live episode number 5, which is all about fabric sourcing, the who, what, when, where, and how to actually do it. So I recommend you go back and watch that Facebook episode live because it's really, really great. But basically, a mill is where the fabric is actually being made. Keep in mind that nowadays, there are very, very few mills actually in the United States. Most fabrics come from outside the US. Now, your vendor, your supplier, your converter might be here in the US. They might be based here, but the fabrics are not actually coming from the US. So it's really important to keep that in mind. Also, try to stay away from jobbers and definitely stay away from retailers as much as possible. Why? Because with jobbers and retailers, there's no continuity. It could be there one day and gone the next, which is really hard to plan for your production. There's also no opportunity for you to find out typically the country of origin, and a lot of times you won't be able to find out the exact fiber content and care wash instructions, which both are needed to have on your labels according to the FTC. Hi Danielle, how are you? So I recommend staying away from jobbers and retailers as much as possible, which is why attending these shows is really good, because the majority of the people at the shows are converters, or some of them are actually the mills themselves. Okay, number 4, know what questions to ask and study them ahead of time. So there's over 9 specific questions that you need to ask these vendors when you're attending these trade shows. And I include all of them in our free fabric sourcing guide. So if you attend the show, come stop by our booth and you can get our free fabric sourcing guide because we give them out at the shows. But one of the main questions I do want to go over is price. So yes, while you need to know the price, you need to know what type of price they're actually giving you. So if someone says this is $5 a yard, you want to know, is it $5 a yard LDP, CIF, or FOB? And what am I talking about here? So LDP is landed duty paid. This means that everything is included in the price to bring that fabric from wherever it's being made to wherever you are, okay? You don't have to pay anything extra. This is the best type of price that you want. The other types of price are CIF, which stands for cost, insurance, freight. This includes shipping, but it doesn't include duty. So keep in mind, whatever they quote you, if it's $5 a yard CIF, you're going to have to pay duty on that fabric. And if it's FOB, it's even worse because the price only includes the shipping up until the port of transportation, the shipping port, but not actually to ship it over to you. So you're gonna have to pay a lot of shipping and the duty, which is not good. So always, always, always try to get an LDP price when you're sourcing your fabrics. And if not, then try to get the CIF. FOB is the worst. You really don't want an FOB price, okay? So that's really important to understand when you're sourcing your fabrics. Hi, Nisi, how are you? Hi, Blessed Child, how are you? Nice to see you ladies on. So we're talking about tips on how to prepare to walk a textile trade shows, and there's a lot of trade shows coming up in New York City. There's the Tex World show, there's the DG Expo, Premier Vision. So that's why I wanted to go over all of this with you girls and guys before you attend these shows. Are you guys enjoying this information so far? Give me a yes, give me a thumbs up. I want to hear from you. I want to know that you're enjoying and learning a lot from this information, okay? Number 5, have an idea where you're actually going to be producing. So why is it important to know where you're going to be producing if you're just sourcing your fabrics, Christine? Well, it's important because if you're producing in India, you really don't want to get your fabrics from China because you're going to have to ship them from China all the way to India. So it's really important to kind of have an idea ahead of time. If you want to produce in Peru, if you want to produce in Colombia and the Dominican Republic, you don't want to be getting your fabrics from all of these places all over the world and then having to pay all the shipping fees. So it helps ideally to get the fabrics from the same country or the same location as wherever you're actually producing. Now again, keep in mind if you are producing in the US, most of the mills are not actually in the US, so you're gonna have to ship it from somewhere else anyway. But if you're producing overseas in another country somewhere, try as best as possible to get your fabrics from that country. Okay, number 6, have a system for keeping track and organizing the info that you gather. This is a really, really important one, guys, because a lot of times people go to these shows, they don't have a system in place, they get information overwhelmed, they've seen so many vendors that by the end of the day, they're so confused which fabric came from who quoted them which price, etc. So you need to have a system. You guys know I'm big on having systems. So figure out where you're gonna take notes, whether you're a pen and paper type of girl and you wanna take notes in a notepad, or you're digital and you wanna take notes on the note app in your phone. I like to do it in my phone because I find it just easier to whip out my phone. I already usually have my phone out anyway, and I can just jot stuff down in my phone. And then 2, have a system for taking photos. So most of the time, 99.9% of the time, you're gonna be allowed to take photos of all the fabrics that you see. So if you're requesting sample yardage or you're requesting swatches, don't take the vendor's word for it that they're actually gonna send you everything that you ordered. You make a note of everything that you want and document everything that you want yourself so that you can follow up with them and make sure you get everything. So I like to take a photo of the fabric as a whole, and then I take a photo of the header, both usually the front and the back, depending on where the information of the header is. And then if their company name is not on the header or the fabric, make sure you put their business card, just ask for one of their business cards, put it on top of the fabric when you take the photo so that you remember which vendor had that specific fabric. This is gonna save you a ton of time when you're doing these shows and when you go back home and you're trying to organize everything. So that's a really good tip for keeping yourself organized and making sure that you're getting all the information, because at the end of the day, if you're asking them a lot of questions, you're gonna wanna make sure that you're keeping track of all the answers to these questions. Okay, number 7 is to narrow down the top suppliers you want to visit with first. These shows are huge. You could literally spend all day, all 2 or 3 days of the show going around looking at vendor after vendor after vendor and not finding what you want. So a lot of the shows have show guides that will either list fabrics by fabric type or by fiber content, etc. So you can kind of figure out ahead of time, okay, if I'm looking for laces, let me see who has laces and make sure I go to all those booths first before I'm just wandering around looking at everyone's stuff, right? So that you can save the most amount of time. Also, the Tex World show is amazing because they have a matchmaking service. So if you contact them and say, hey, I'm a designer, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z type of fabrics, they will actually tell you who you should go to. So, and that's a free service. So definitely reach out to them. I'm putting links to all the shows. They're all on my blog. So you can go to fashionninjawarrior.com/blog and you can look at all that stuff. Also keep in mind, it's easier to source your novelties first before you source your solids, because solids typically come in a wide variety of colors. Novelties usually come only in a couple of colors. So if you're trying to color coordinate everything or make things match to a certain color story that you have going on, try to source all of your novelties first. What do I mean by novelty? Something that's not a basic type of fabric, like a lace, a tweed, possibly a print, a crepe, right? Something that's a little bit different, that's got some texture, a jacquard or something like that, that might have multiple colors in it. Source those fabrics first and worry about your solids later, because those are going to be much easier for you to find. Okay, number 8, take advantage of the trend seminars and any trend areas that they have at these shows. So a lot of the shows, especially the Tex World show, they have a plethora of trend seminars. All of them are free. They also have a whole trend area where they keep all of the fabrics that are trending and they put everything out and they organize it in a really, really pretty way. Hi Marissa, how are you? Hi Yana. Hi Anton. Nice to see so many of you on. So take advantage of that. There are trends like there are with silhouettes. There are trends with fabrics. And I'm telling you, your fabric could make your entire line. Like a dress is a dress is a dress at the end of the day. There's only so many different ways you can do it, but changing up the fabric could literally change the entire style. So take advantage, look at those areas, and make sure that you're paying attention to trends when it comes to fabrics. Okay, number 9, make sure you bring the proper items with you. You will not look very professional if you do not have business cards with you. So bring your business cards because everyone's gonna ask you for one. And if you order swatches, they're gonna ask you for an address to ship the swatches to, and they're gonna have to write down all of your information. So make sure you have a business card. Make sure you have a professional email address on the business card, not myname@yahoo.com. That's not professional. So make sure you have a professional email address. And then if you can, bring swatches with you of the fabrics that you like, that you're trying to source, and or bring garments with you. So if you have a jacket that you absolutely love the fabric, maybe you don't know what type of fabric it is, bring it with you, show it to vendors, say this is exactly what I'm looking for. And they're gonna know, and you're gonna be able to also compare by putting the jacket in one hand and the other fabric swatch in the other hand, and really compare and see if it's close enough to what you actually want. If you don't have that jacket with you, it's gonna be much harder for you to know in your head, like, is this too light? Is this too thin? You're not gonna have a clue. So if you bring fabrics with you, if you bring garments with you, that's always, always, always gonna help you source your fabrics much easier when you're walking these shows, okay? And number 10, my favorite, of course, hire a consultant like us to walk the show with you. We walk these shows all the time with a lot of our clients. We can introduce you to the vendors that we work with and we have relationships with, and they will definitely take you more seriously if they know that you're working with us and you're coming over with us. So that's why a lot of our clients like to hire us. We know who has the best thing. We know what price points everyone's kind of at. So we can really help you save a bunch of time and help you cut your sourcing time down in half by walking the show with you. So if you're interested in that, you can email us at info@fashioninawarrior.com and we can set up a time to walk the show with you. So those are my top 10 crucial tips on how to prepare to walk a fabric trade show. And like I said, all the trade shows are gonna be listed on the blog. If you go there now, you'll see all of the trade shows listed for the upcoming New York City trade shows. There's Premier Vision, there's the DG Expo, and Tex World. All right, so a couple of announcements. We have our 4th of July online course sale happening right now till this Saturday, 7/7. So make sure if you are interested in signing up for any of our online courses, they are $40 off each. So I would definitely head over to our online courses. I put the link on Facebook, fashioninawarrior.com/courses. Sign up for them. They're recorded. Even if you can't watch them now, you can watch them later. Don't miss out on this crazy, amazing deal for $40 off. We have courses as low as $27, guys. Okay, it doesn't get cheaper than this. So I recommend you take as many courses as possible. Start spending your 4th of July now, getting ahead of the game and working on your business. Like I mentioned, the textile shows are going to be up on the blog. You can also download our foolproof cost sheet template right on our website. I put the link on Facebook. And don't forget to go back and watch those previous episodes. Episode number 5 on fabric sourcing and episode number 33, we talk about fabric sourcing misconceptions. And those would be great episodes to watch if you're going to be going to these fabric textile shows. All right, so that's it for tonight, guys. Next week, we will be back Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are gonna talk about Made in the USA, tips for producing your line locally. So you don't wanna miss that episode. So stay tuned for that. And I hope everyone has an amazing 4th of July. I'll see you all next week. Bye.